Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes. We are the elite, and you are the weak. No matter how hard I fall, I'll get back up on my feet. Red alert, this is gonna hurt. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get back up on my feet. Why are they alive?
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Bulletcast, episode 420. Not the 420 I had pictured for this episode, but nonetheless, we're here. We got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a spliced-in episode. Brandon and Marlee will be on just later on in the episode. So let's get to it. Outside the ring, Michelle McCool has been announced for the WWE Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Michelle McCool, one half of Lay Cool. Ironically enough, she did an interview with Chris Van Vliet, and it had dropped. And I think it dropped like a day before the announcement. She said she wanted Lay Cool to go in together. And then she's somewhere with the Taker making an appearance, talking to Hunter on a big screen. And Hunter tells her that, hey, you're going in. Michelle McCool, I mean, if you listen to the Chris Van Vliet interview, she was talking about how, one time they wanted her to redo a match just because her punches and kicks looked too good, better than some of the guys. And shout out Jericho for standing up for her. But, I mean, that's just, she made it look very good. I remember a match with Melina where she and her were just going for it, and you could feel like it was a real fight. If she had stayed in a little bit longer, when the women started to do a little bit more, we possibly could have seen some other great matches. I mean, she played a great Mean Girl. I mean, obviously the Picky James thing it was what it was. But I mean, she just played an absolute great Mean Girl. I mean, I can picture Michelle McCool and AJ Lee, Michelle just downgrading her and that leading to a big matchup. I think that could have been something. But nonetheless, Michelle McCool, she was she helped pave the way. She was a part of a very hard era in women's wrestling where you have 3 minutes curtain to curtain. And I think on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, she said one time they told her, as soon as you get there, go home. How do you even do that? Crazy. But nonetheless, congratulations to Michelle McCool. Going into the WWE Hall of Fame, hopefully Layla gets into. I think Layla's going to induct her. I think that would be fun to see Layla again. I haven't seen Layla in quite some time, especially on WWE TV. What would it be 2014 was the last time you saw Layla on WWE TV? I think it'd be nice to have her induct her friend and tag partner. All right, we got some fan mail. And Brightest Day X, Mr. X, the Hall of Famer, says, well, I got my ticket to NXT this Tuesday to see the in-ring debut of Ricky Saints and to see the WWE return of the Hardy Boys. Congratulations. You want to talk about that in a second. He also asked, speaking of Matt and Jeff, could we see them make an appearance on the main roster at some point? Let me get into that once I get to inside the ring. So let's go to SmackDown. Here we are. SmackDown happens. Jacob and Tom are out there in the ring with Cody Rhodes. They're all looking for Solo. Solo shows up, decked out in all white, doing his best impersonation of the Animal, Batista, all white turtleneck and whatnot. Jake finds him in the back and wants to know what the hell is going on. And Solo's like, "Hey, I had to get right, but I'm back now." And then Solo tells Jacob, "I love you." And Jake just kind of brushes it off like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna get somewhere with this." And then later on, we get the main event. It's Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, triple threat qualifier match for the Elimination Chamber. Priest goes over. Cody's out there. It's about a crossroads, Tama Tonga. Solo comes in with the spike. Cody moves and it hits Tama's, dissension there. But nonetheless, congratulations to Damian Priest. I believe he needed that, after being champion and still feuding with the Judgment Day and Finn for as long as he did. And just SmackDown, fresh start, something new to go into the hunt for the WWE title picture. I think that's a great thing for him. And then Trish Stratus to the rescue during the WWE Women's Championship match between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. It's like a 3-segment match. It was really good. And then unfortunately it ends with the chicanery. This is the stuff that Brandon's always talking about. Yeah, Trish Stratus to the rescue. You love to see it. Can't wait to see what's made of this. I mean, can we get Trish and what if we got Trish and Nia at WrestleMania? I think that would be great for Nia, especially given she was champion for a significant amount of time, and the work she's been doing has been phenomenal. No pun intended on the phenomenal one, but nonetheless, I think that would be something awesome for Nia to do. Just kind of reward her, and then Charlotte Flair. This is the queen. This is the queen that I like. Just degrading, just downplaying anybody. She sits down in a chair over Tiffy's unconscious body. She's been beaten up and battered and attacked, and she's like, "The queen chooses you." I'm like, okay, we about to do something here, yes sir, yes sir. I really like that. I'm excited to see Tiffany and Flair. They're gonna do good business. I was intrigued by Rhea and Charlotte too, because or technically Rhea and Charlotte three, but I was intrigued by that also. But yeah, no, Charlotte and Tiffany, they're gonna do good business. The IWC likes to, oh really, they're gonna do this, guy? Shut up, and just watch. And what the Rock say? Shut the hell up and enjoy the ride. Yeah, do that. That's going to conclude my SmackDown talks or thoughts. Sorry, we're going to throw it over to Marlee so she can give her thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown.
I thought SmackDown was pretty alright. Cody and Drew opened the show with a face to face, which led into a Cody and Jacob face to face. Thought there would be a callback to Cody and Drew as the dashing ones. I guess that doesn't apply now, but if we are to go this route, you cannot not acknowledge the dashing ones, let's be real. One thing I did like about the opening face to face is the line Cody said. I'm gonna butcher it because I don't remember it word for word, but he said something along the lines of to Jacob, he was like, if you get the first word, I get the last word. I thought that was nice. That was a nice little mic drop, nice little touch to his promo. And then we lead into Naomi qualifying for the Elimination Chamber. She beat Chelsea Green, which means now both her and Bianca are in the Elimination Chamber, which I feel is going to set up a split of sorts. I don't know. I just feel like as we get further along on the road to WrestleMania, there will be some splits and separations for tag teams, factions, because it's a new season. WrestleMania, in my opinion, is like the season premiere. It's the reset. So whatever they were doing in this last season, probably not going to happen going forward. But with Bianca and Naomi both in the Elimination Chamber, and Chelsea or not Chelsea, Liv and Raquel going after the tag titles on this coming Raw. I feel like the seeds are being planted. I could be wrong. They could prove me wrong. Could very well prove me wrong. But something's not adding up there for me personally. Then we had Solo and Jacob have a face to face. Jacob did not say I love you Solo, but Solo did say I love you Jacob, which circling back to that teasing of splits and separations going further on to the road to WrestleMania. I feel like we saw it coming when Solo disappeared because Jacob's essentially branched out on his own outside of the bloodline, the new bloodline. So I really don't even think Jacob needs Solo right now. But that build, the seeds that are being planted there, I'm a fan. Motor City Machine Gun versus Los Garza. Then we had LA Knight and The Miz have a back and forth over who should challenge Shinsuke Nakamura. And I feel like we just need to pull the trigger on LA Knight. Because we've seen a Miz United States title reign. Unfortunately, this title reign for Shinsuke is not it. So the obvious answer would be to put it on LA Knight. But what I did love about the Miz and LA Knight's segment, it's kind of just like the promo battle between them. Them going back and forth on the mic, that was a smart choice. Very smart choice. Then we had R-Truth versus Carmelo Hayes, and then We had Nia versus Tiffy for the title. Trish Stratus came and saved Tiffany from an ambush, and then Charlotte showed up in her pants that just she needed a belt. I'm sorry. Respectfully, the pants were bothering me. You either need a belt or something else to hold those pants up. But Charlotte chose Tiffy for WrestleMania main event, and yeah, it was an all right episode. Damian Priest also qualified for the Elimination Chamber. Would have loved to see Jacob in there because the moonsault off the Elimination Chamber pod would have been, insane. Then Jay's attackers were revealed as Liv and Raquel, which I don't know. I kind of feel like Liv and Raquel were framed, but it doesn't surprise me that Liv and Raquel kind of took out Jade. But that just the math behind that storyline does not make sense to me. But hey, it was SmackDown.
All right, I'm back. Let's talk inside the ring. Thank you, Marlee Marr. Ricky Saints has officially signed his NXT contract. They didn't say his name for a whole week, and it led to speculation like, "Oh my God, they're going to change his name. They're going to change his name." They altered it. I mean, this thing was full with like Ethan Page, Wesley was out there. A lot was going on. Ricky Saints has signed his NXT contract. He was on Busted Open with Bully Ray, and he said, "Well, I'm from New Orleans, so it just makes sense that I would get something that relates to home." Sorry, it's been a long day. New Orleans. I mean, I love it. I mean, what if Ricky Starks has a prominent role at a WrestleMania New Orleans? Huh? I don't know. I think that would be something cool. I'd like to see WrestleMania go to New Orleans because what they did 30 there, 34 and 38. No, 38 was in Dallas. They did 30 and 34. I'd be down to go to New Orleans for WrestleMania if it happens. We don't even know where next year's is going to be yet, so we got to see. But yeah, Ricky Saints. It's like, or I know people are like, well, can it be Saint? Look, in like a month, we're gonna forget about it. We're gonna get over it. I don't see people being that outraged by this name change alteration like they were for like Gunther. Like once you got a month or two and you didn't give a damn, like you was Gunther, you stopped talking about Walter. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be fine. Moose showed up on NXT to confront Oba Femi. I was like, oh, okay. Two big men, two powerhouses going at it. That intrigues me. Moose, I've worked a couple shows with him. He's a great guy, very nice, extremely talented. The work he's done in TNA, Impact champ, TNA champ, the X Division champion. He's just the wrestling god. He's really stepped up his game from the guy that was wrestling in Ring of Honor, man. So just with Shane Taylor, I believe, yeah. So kudos to him for just putting it all together and becoming really kind of the total package. Yes, total package. Yes. I was gonna make like a Lex Luger reference, but I couldn't think of one. And then the Hardys on NXT. Yes, I mean, they got issued a challenge and they've accepted. Look, I'm gonna be happy to see the Hardys back on WWE TV. I love me some Hardy boys. And then as far as Mr. X's question goes, with the main roster. Never know, man. You never know. I would really love to see them come back and, obviously quick little tag run, go in the Hall of Fame. But Jeff, let's get another quick little singles run, bring back the No More Words and just let's vibe with it one last time. I would love to see that. But I'm excited for the Hardys to come out on NXT and defend those TNA Tag Team Championships. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. Gunther imitates Jey Uso's entrance. He's out there with the fans. He's just talking. He's downgrading Jay and this whole thing. And then it ensues in a brawl with Jay and Gunther in the ring. Just chaos. Gunther is at his best, kind of like Charlotte, when just downgrading and demeaning your opponent, making them feel like they aren't shit. Just straight up, like you really think you're going to beat me? All right, calm down. You ain't doing nothing. I've done it all. Been here, done it all, won it all. You ain't ish. Calm down. Hold your horses. It's just one of those one of those attitudes, and I love that. That's what they do best. That's what they excel at. And then Rollins qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. Another great match with Finn Balor. They never have a bad one. Good work. Good work. This chamber match is looking. I mean, Cena, Punk, McIntyre. Cena, Punk, McIntyre, Rollins. Who else is in this thing? Oh my God, I gotta look it up. Who else is in this Elimination Chamber? Oh, Cena, Punk, Rollins, McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Damian Priest. Yeah, I just talked about it. Jesus, that's a hell of a chamber. I'm excited to. I keep saying I'm excited because I am. I'm excited. It's WrestleMania season, guys. Excited. It's going to be very interesting to see what direction they go. I mean, it's really early to talk about this. The only person I see winning that chamber is John Cena, just on the road and the 17th title, and him and Cody. I think that's going to be very interesting moving forward. Sami Zayn wants Kevin Owens. Adam Pearce says he can't sanction a match between them, but March 1st, Toronto, Canada, we're going to get an unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And the last time they did one of these, go look at the Ring of Honor clips that have been surfing the internet. Whoo, boy, they tore it up. If we can get any semblance of that, it doesn't have to be exactly like that, obviously. If we can get any semblance of what they used to do, that'd be great. And then lastly, for Raw, I'm going to talk about Penta defeating Pete Dunne. Pentagon's been on fire, man. He feels so much bigger. I said it when he first debuted. I'm saying it again. He feels like a true star. Absolutely. I mean, it just the aura is back. I think the episode of the pod when he debuted in WWE was aura restored because it is. It feels like he's Pentagon of old again. The guy I used to watch in APW out here. Just all that aura is back, and the matches have been awesome. I'd like to see what he's gonna do for WrestleMania, man. Maybe Chad Gable and him running back at WrestleMania. Because I think that would be something very interesting. Yes. That's gonna do it for me for a while. Now we're gonna jump into Marlee's recap of Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Brandon's WWE talk.
I think I enjoyed Raw a little bit better than SmackDown because we opened up with Sami Zayn. Well, he didn't break. This isn't him breaking his silence, but continued on from breaking his silence against the Kevin Owens attack. They have set up an unsanctioned match between Sammy and Kevin at the Elimination Chamber, and I'm biased because the Kevin Steen El Generico battles of Ring of Honor past. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So that might be my highly anticipated match heading into Elimination Chamber. But this whole Elimination Chamber stretch on the road to WrestleMania has always felt like a filler episode to me. I mentioned that in the SmackDown part, but it's kind of just like we're still putting things together. It's still early on the road to WrestleMania, and I just feel like things start to pick up once everything is solidified. Once we have the Elimination Chamber winners, once we get past the Elimination Chamber, that's when I feel like the real road to WrestleMania starts. But we're on the way. We're on the way because then we had Braun. Well, it was AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio with a Braun Breaker interference at the end. AJ Styles is too smart for his own good, so he already knew to step out the way and put Dominic in the line of fire. And then the way he just stood there and caught that shirt that Braun threw at him. Now that, if anything, I would say Braun and AJ for the title at Mania. That's not like an elimination chamber match. That's not a random episode Monday Night Raw match. That's a solid intercontinental title match that you build going into WrestleMania. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then we had Dakota Kai win an opportunity to face Lyra Valkyria for the IC title. Glad that they are getting their rematch because I was at the Raw where Lyra won and they put on a really good match. So I would not be opposed to seeing this again. I feel like it's going to happen at Elimination Chamber, if not a random episode of Raw. But I don't know. I would rather see it at Elimination Chamber because I feel like if you're gonna go the lengths to introduce a new title, you kind of don't limit the defenses to weekly television. Kind of, put it on. We're gonna have all these belts and introduce all these titles. At least put it on the same level as the rest of them. But that's just me. Penta beat Pete Dunne, which was a good match. I don't think Penta has ever had a bad match, but specifically, I don't think Penta has had a bad match since he came to WWE because circling back to being at Raw, that I was at the Raw where he made his debut, and that was just incredible to see in person. And then also, I think the first Penta match I saw was that cage match with the Young Bucks. It was Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. But whenever we get that Penta Reclusa rematch from Lucha Underground, I'm there. Absolutely there. Roxanne Perez qualified for the Chamber, which I personally think was the right move because I don't think Raquel Rodriguez needed to be in the Chamber, personally. But Roxanne, one to watch because the few times that I do watch NXT, she has impressed me. And I'm really glad that she's starting to get the recognition on the main roster. She's graduating up from NXT. Like, it's all around good shit. And then Seth qualifies for the Chamber over Finn, which I feel like that was a given, but it also that was a match where I wouldn't be mad with either one going to the Chamber. I feel because it could have furthered either storyline. Like Seth's Road to WrestleMania storyline with him winning, and then whatever Finn is doing with the Judgment Day with him winning. So that was kind of one of those. Either one could win, and it wouldn't be terrible. But I enjoyed their match, and I believe NXT Judgment Day also happened, and we had one title change. I believe it was Fallon Henley and Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie beat Fallon for the title. And talk about somebody else to watch, Stephanie Vaquer. Even prior to WWE, like the CMLL stuff, man, that's a beast. She's a beast.
What is up, everyone? It's your boy Brandon Tanguma here, back on assignment to give you my thoughts around the world of professional wrestling. First, we got WWE news to talk about. Not too much, really. We finally did get the official name of former AEW wrestler Ricky Stark. Now he is going to be going by Ricky Saint. We saw it on an NXT contract signing, and the contract stated Ricky Saint, so nothing too over the top. Like when Gunther changed his name to Walter and like some other stuff, they try to dance around it because it is kind of an awkward thing of like everyone knows him by one name, but they want to change him to something else, and it's close enough to where it's not like that big of a deal. I don't know how I'm going to feel personally, not feel, but just in terms of will it be hard for me to switch it up because it is relatively similar. And he's from New Orleans. The Saints is the football team. They have that word, and that is obviously an homage to the city he's from, so I don't have too much of an issue with it. And as I said, it's similar enough that it shouldn't be too much of an issue going forward. We did get him get a little, not altercation, but a little stare down with Wesley. Maybe that will be his first match in NXT. Whether it'd probably just be a television match because Stand and Deliver's still 2 months away, 2 months exactly from when I'm recording this, or less than 2 months because it's the 19th, I believe. I'm recording this on the 20th. And that would be, a fun match. I don't know if it's the most top tier match Ricky Saints can have. See, I already called him Ricky Starks. But I think he's going to kind of slot maybe in the second to third match on the card for Stand and Deliver. It looks as though we might be headed towards a Moose Obafemi match for the main event of Stand and Deliver. We did get Moose show up on here, and then he's going to be having an X Division title match against Brian Pillman Jr., I believe, next week, and we did have a little bit of a stare down between those two guys, so starting to take shape of what NXT is going to be doing for WrestleMania weekend. We also did get the Hardys announced they will be making their return to WWE, and it's going to be in NXT in a tag team match. A little interesting that the Hardys are going to make their return after all these years, and it's just for NXT. Now, I get it that the TNA partnership is mainly with NXT, so if the Hardys, who are TNA champions currently, tag team champions, would go to NXT instead of main roster proper, but, you know, maybe they do want to kind of save that off for another trip or two for them to do something proper in WWE for one last run, whether it's end of the year, maybe next year, but who knows. Now let's go into SmackDown. The opening segment was Drew McIntyre and Cody. They had a little promo back and forth, and now with Jey Uso picking Gunther for WrestleMania, all eyes are on Cody and the Elimination Chamber for who's going to win that match and choose Cody. And Drew, he's been moved to SmackDown, so he just, kind of went after Cody a little bit. And Jacob Fatu also got involved, and they had like a fun little interaction. And Solo ended up showing up later, but both Cody and Jacob wanted to get a word in with Solo. I thought this was a fun, really good opening segment, and honestly, there's only like a couple main talking points coming out of the SmackDown, despite them making SmackDown now 3 hours long. They kind of just have the same core content, and then just kind of add those filler matches to pad out the extra 45 minutes that they need. Yeah, I mean, Drew, there's rumblings of him being taking on Damon Priest, and that might be up for grabs. It might be something different just because they heard the backlash to that possibility. And, Drew, he's been such a consistent, great talker. He's put on very solid matches. Him going for the second year, third year in a row, kind of back, falling down a little bit behind the 8-ball compared to what everyone else is doing. It does kind of suck. Now, I don't know. Is this possibly setting up Drew and Cody being the match? Maybe. I don't know. But WrestleMania in total, we'll have so many more shows to talk about this. I just don't know what match outside of that John Cena match and Cody that would feel like a WrestleMania main event. So, we'll have to wait and see. Elimination Chamber will be next week, next Saturday. So we'll hopefully the band will be all back together next week, and we can have a full-blown breakdown and throw our predictions out there. LA Knight, Miz had a match. It was fine. So Miz and LA Knight and Shinsuke, kind of all three of them are in the U.S. title scene. After the fact with Solo showed up, and Jacob and him had like a little talk in the locker room. Kind of smooths things over, not really. It was kind of just Solo talking to Jacob, and then Jacob just kind of, listening, not really selling exactly what he felt. We did have a women's title match between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. That ended up being a no disqualification? So possibly could see something later on down the road. But Charlotte ends up choosing Tiffany to be her opponent at WrestleMania. And I thought this segment was so bad. It's always very awkward, and it's something I don't really harp on too much. But like the backstage attacks, and then they like linger on the attacked wrestler for I think too long, or just kind of at all, and they have to just sit there and sell and just writhe in pain, don't talk to anybody, and it just seems very fake compared to how a normal person would act if they got jumped, or even a UFC fighter, how they act when they're fighting. Just completely unresponsive in those situations. And we saw that here with Tiffy. and just Charlotte all over her, just like, oh, Tiffy, can you get up? Can you hear me? It wasn't even like the good kind of heat. It was just kind of like annoying, and it kind of made Tiffy look bad because obviously Charlotte's the heel in the situation now, and Tiffany's supposed to be the babyface, and she just looks so helpless and like didn't stand up for herself or didn't like do anything back to Charlotte. And I just thought it put Tiffany Stratton in such a bad situation. I've been talking about how the turn that Tiffany had against Nia Jax hasn't been great either. So I think they've really fumbled Tiffany Stratton currently. And maybe the match will be good at WrestleMania. Everyone will say that fixed everything. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. They did set up a tag team match at Elimination Chamber, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton to take on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Match to be okay. Trish Stratus in Canada going to get a good pop, but Trish and Tiffy, people are always going to make the comparison, so it is kind of fun to see those two together. Also got some of the groundwork laid for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens with some promos, each of them. Sami either from like his bed or from his house, and Kevin Owens obviously from his car, which is normally where he does these things. And that was that was not it, because we did have a new person enter the Elimination Chamber match. And it was a triple threat match with Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, and Braun Strowman. And the match was okay. Kind of what you would expect with both Jacob and Braun in there, to where you trying to protect them a little bit, trying to walk that fine line, and they also want to protect Priest as well. So it's a triple threat match. They're kind of all over the place doing their stuff. At the end of the day, Solo did get involved. Jacob kind of got, not a visual pin, but definitely was like, beating down on Braun Breaker. See, I talked about the Ricky Starks thing, but I get Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman now confused all the time. Maybe that's why they changed his last name, Ricky Starks, that is, because they didn't want anyone to get him confused with Zoe Starks. But Cody comes out, because Solo attacked Priest, I believe, and Cody makes a save. Jacob's kind of beating down on Braun, and then Jacob gets out the way, tries to attack Cody. Cody, tries to duck all of them. Solo tries to hit the Samoan Spike, and he ends up hitting Tama Tonga. And that kind of pissed off Jacob, and he kind of bowed up to Solo. But before anything could happen, I believe it was Priest, pushed them into each other. So it looks as though laying the groundwork for a Jacob Fatu Solo Sikoa match at WrestleMania, it's a fine match. It's going to have some backstory to it. And if this is kind of a way to turn, I don't know if it's going to be like a full-blown turn for Jacob, or if it's just like the bloodline kind of in its own universe, and people are going to choose Fatu over Solo. And then when they get out of that universe, Solo and Jacob are both going to be heels at the end of the day. But at the end of this match, Damian Priest pinned Braun Strowman to win the match and enter into the Elimination Chamber. Then moving on into Raw, we started off with Sami Zayn. He cut a promo. He was in the middle of the ring, and he did his normal thing, just kind of thanking the fans, and he vowed to get revenge on Kevin Owens, wanted the match. Adam Pearce said no, and I thought it was a fun segment. They played off of their history quite well, I thought. Then they made the unsanctioned stipulation. The whole unsanctioned thing AEW does with the lights out, it is kind of like stupid when you kind of think about it for like 10 seconds. Like, yeah, we're not going to make this match like official, but it's official enough for us to promote it and have it in our building under our banner with our license or whatever the other logistics of all that stuff it would be. But it should be a really fun match. Everyone's going to be looking at the past generic Osteen matches that we've seen and going to think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that. Maybe with this new blood era in WWE, we get some blood, and I probably hope there's some blood, unless this isn't the full-blown payoff and they're going to do something at WrestleMania. But once again, we're 2 months out. Are they really going to stagger this all the way there? I don't think so. Maybe get a Raw main event out of it, but I don't think they get it all the way there to WrestleMania. Styles and Dominic had a match. I thought that was solid. Kind of get Styles out there, and Styles and Braun Breaker. That seems to be on the horizon. Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile, their match for the IC title number 1 contendership, I thought was solid. Scary looking ending, with Ivy Nile kind of spiking her head. I just don't kind of get the logic behind the outcome. Like, don't get it twisted. I love Dakota Kai. I think she's very talented and kind of has been underutilized her entire career. But I just feel like the story of Alpha Academy, American Alpha, whatever their fucking name is, the Americans, whatever their name is, their goal, American made. There we go. I figured it out eventually. But their goal is to be champions, all of them. And you can tell the story of them all falling short, but I think it's a better dynamic of Niall going in there for the title and then losing. And then, Gable can chastise all of them if they don't have titles, whatever the case may be. I just don't understand the reasoning for why Ivy Nile just didn't win the match. Like, just have her win the match, and then whatever story they're going to tell, they can tell regardless. But it's and Ivy, the jury's still out on her. I think overall Dakota Kai is more talented than Ivy Nile, but Dakota Kai kind of she's been there a while, and she kind of is in that pigeonhole of we know what she is. Ivy Nile, I think, could be more. I don't think it's that much more, but I think you got to run with her and see exactly what you can get out of her. That is what it is. The Gunther, I thought this segment was just great. Gunther coming down the aisle and just kind of cutting a promo, doing everything, even like kind of chastising the little kid to tell him to get out of his way. That was fun. And this was just Gunther just in his element, just such a smarmy heel, just better than everybody. And he knows it. And he knows he's handsome. He's a great wrestler. He, does all these things. It was just the very best of Gunther. And I think they've done a good job really putting heat on Gunther and really wanting to see people wanting to see Jay win. And they're putting, a lot of, they're telling the story. There's a lot of doubt, even though you take the 1,000-foot step back and you kind of see like, okay, they're definitely going so hard in one direction that they're probably going to go the other direction. Jay's going to win, but they're definitely laying the foundation for a really solid story. Now, take a shot if you heard this before. We still got 2 months to go. We'll see if there's any detours on the road to WrestleMania. Pete Dunne and Penta, that was a solid matchup. Just maybe this leads to a triple threat match, but Penta just kind of, treading water right now in the mid card. I don't know if he's going to have a marquee match at WrestleMania, maybe like a tag team match with Rey. Maybe he does something else. Rey Mysterio, that is. I don't think Rey Fenix is going to be in WWE by WrestleMania, but hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened. We did get a match with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez for them, one of those women, to go into the Elimination Chamber. This one, another women's match where I just thought the booking decision was a little weird, a little strange of why they kind of had Roxy in this match to begin with. And then, then you get Bianca Belair and Naomi involved. Roxanne's a heel who's a babyface on the main roster. Kind of. It's all just kind of a mess. It just feels a little disconjointed from where they are to, NXT and then where they are to on the main roster. And then now we have the entire Elimination Chamber match set up for... Sorry, I am an idiot. I was a little asleep during this. Roxanne Perez ended up winning, but the point still stands of kind of everything being all over the place in terms of the the matchups, her dynamic on the main roster. But so now we got the women's elimination match set for and whoever wins this is going to take on Rhea Ripley. So now we look at these and we're like, okay, what would be the most tantalizing pick? We have Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. I mean, honestly, I really do think that Bianca Belair Rhea Ripley match is going to be something, but they just haven't really teased that at all. And we have the Jade Cargill mystery still out there, so I don't think they're going to go down that route. Roxanne Perez, I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, Roxanne, she's on Raw, but like the whole NXT thing, they've just kind of been doing something with Bayley. So, I don't know. I would think I'd pick Bianca Belair. I think you pick Bianca Belair. It ended up being Naomi who attacked Jade. So you do Jade and Naomi, or you do a tag team match between those women. So I think currently my official prediction would be Bianca Belair for that matchup. Then we get the main event, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Match was fine. What'd you expect from these two guys? Rollins, no shocker, got the win. And then that sets up all 6 participants of the men's Elimination Chamber match. And now we set up the match with Cody, John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins. Now, I said CM Punk, or that John Cena was the only one that didn't feel that felt like a WrestleMania main event. Obviously, if they did CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, that could be a WrestleMania main event, especially with the promo he cut before Royal Rumble. You know, I think it does come down to Cena, Punk, and then McIntyre. I just don't see Logan Paul, Priest, or Seth Rollins being anywhere near that level to main event or WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes for the title right now. So I think it just does come down to those 3 guys and what kind of story does they tell. There's the rumor innuendo that's Cena and Punk in a triple threat match. I don't know. I would have much rather. I mean, the promo that Punk cut was so interesting. I think if you unpack Punk trying to like tear down Cody and try to like say that he's, you know, kind of breaking down and the championship is eating him alive would be fun. But then on Cena's part, I think if they were to have a feud, Cena would be tearing down would be tearing down Cody Rhodes, but it wouldn't be Cena. It wouldn't be like how Punk does it. Cena, the way he does it is he just like says, "You're a knockoff John Cena, and I'm gonna, you know, be the champion," and kind of all that stuff. So once again, you know, we'll be back here next week to do a full-blown breakdown and preview of what we think is going to happen. But that was just my thoughts on some of the happenings and some of the shows here on WWE this last week. Now, I'll be back to do my usual AEW coverage. Now back over Phil.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you very much, Marlee and Brandon. Now we are going to throw it to Brandon so he can recap all Elite Wrestling.
All right, y'all. I'm back to do my AEW Dynamite recap. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Grand Slam Australia show, check on over at Curveballs and Chair Shots. I did a full-blown breakdown over there, but TLDR, good show. Probably one of the better AEW TV shows they put on just because it was just like a straight-up matches back to back to back to back. The venue was fantastic, and yeah, the main event and the opener I thought were both stellar. Then let's start off with the opening segment of Hangman Page and MJF. They had a intense promo battle back and forth, and I thought this was strong stuff between these two. It was kind of like showcasing the best and a little bit of the worst of what both these guys have done in AEW and just kind of their best and worst tendencies overall. Of Hangman, kind of, you know, he's clearly turning face, but yet he shouldn't be a face after all the things he's done. MJF, on the other hand, you know, when he's cool, calm, and collected and just being an absolute scumbag, that's when he's at his best. But then when he's like yelling, saying like some crude stuff, and see, I censored myself there. I'm a good boy. You know, he's saying like crude stuff just trying to get like pops or like, oh my gosh, or just whatever his rationale for saying those things are. There was a little bit in there, but nothing too crazy. It was more the screaming for MJF, but overall I thought it was a stellar segment and you know, created these two AEW originals going at it for, I don't know if it's the first time ever, but it's definitely kind of the, you know, in this evolution of both these guys, a fun matchup. And then we had a pull apart brawl after MJF spat on Hangman Page. I can do without spitting in 2025. Like, it's not just a COVID thing or it's disgusting thing. I think it's just cheap. I know Naito does it all the time, but I'm just not a big fan of it. And I'm excited to see this match. Story has been okay. You know, they've been teasing it for a little bit here. March 9th, just around the corner, 2-3 weeks away from now at AEW Revolution in Los Angeles in the Staples Center or the Crypto.com Arena. And it should be a fun battle between those two guys here. We got, some other stuff, some other matches. Gabe Kidd going to be on Collision this week, which is very interesting after all the things Gabe Kidd said about AEW and Tony Khan going into his match with Kenny Omega at the Tokyo Dome. And now he's going to be on AEW this week on Collision. I believe his contract is coming up, which is interesting timing because I think Gabe Kidd can be the top gaijin over there at New Japan. And if he wants to do the travel, if he wants to be that guy, he could be that guy because I think he has something special in there in Japan. And I think if he were to go to AEW, he would just get lost in the shuffle. Like as highly as I think of him in New Japan, I am almost the complete opposite for AEW. I should have probably I have the show in front of me, but I probably should have just bounced some stuff around. Let's see, what should we talk about next? We did get a Jon Moxley promo. He just kind of got off. He beat the Death Riders beat Switchblade and Cope in Australia, so he cut a little promo, just kind of talked about that a little bit. And Switchblade came out. He was going to get attacked 4-on-1, but shocker, even though Jon Moxley said multiple times Copeland wasn't going to be there, he actually was there. And they get in a little bit of a brawl. And once again, Copeland brings out that spike thing with all the whatever nails in it, and he chases Moxley up the aisleway, and he cuts a little promo and just kind of riles the fans up. And once good venue. They were in Phoenix, and I don't have the. Do they have the arena? No, I don't know what the name of the arena was, but it was like another one of those like almost music halls. Kind of has the stage up front, and all the seating is behind that, and so they had the elevated stage to come out on, and they step down to kind of, I don't even know the whatever, you know what I'm talking about. As I'm dropping shit. So I thought it was a good venue. They did announce that Double or Nothing is going to be leaving Las Vegas for the first year ever. And it will be going to Phoenix Memorial Day. I believe it's Memorial Day weekend. It always is Memorial Day weekend. So they have balked at running the same venue every single year, despite Tony Khan saying he wanted to do that. So it has gone away from Vegas, and now it has moved to Phoenix, which it's honestly probably the right spot. Ticket sales were not great. They've kind of sped that dry, and once again, going to Vegas, what would that be, like a month? Yeah, a month after WrestleMania just had it, and there's going to be a lot of fans, the local fans, and especially, but then, are fans going to want to travel to Las Vegas again? Probably not. So they're going to Phoenix, which is interesting just because they are running their pay-per-view here, or not here, but California in LA for Revolution. Then their next pay-per-view is also going to be western part of the country in Phoenix, and then they're going to run all in Texas. So once again, it's kind of Central America, kind of, but more western cities for three of their biggest shows of the year. When a lot of people were speculating maybe they would run Double or Nothing in Atlantic City, East Coast, they have the gambling ties just as much as Las Vegas does. So that one did make sense. So I wonder why because if you're going to move it out of Vegas, you should move it somewhere kind of far away from Vegas where you're getting a kind of fresh crowd. Because, the people who would travel to Vegas would probably travel to Phoenix or not travel to Phoenix. So I just don't think it's that big of a difference between Vegas and Phoenix to justify the move, is what I'm kind of saying here. We had Toni Storm promo, middle of the ring, spotlight on her. No Mariah May to speak of. She just kind of laid down the gauntlet, just saying, I'm the champion now. Whoever wants it, I'll take on all challengers, even that bloody Wendy Richter. She did do a cheap plug for her Queen of the Mat. whatever. She's in a movie. It's coming out soon, so definitely check that out for Tony. So no interference, no nothing, no shenanigans, just a straightforward middle of the ring promo from Toni Storm. We did get another women's promo with the other champion, Mercedes Moné. She will be taking on Mono Watanabe at Revolution. So that should be a very solid matchup, even though there's going to be no storyline behind it, but the match will be good, which is typical for AEW. We had a Ricochet promo, once again, in the middle of the ring, and it was kind of hit or miss. I don't know with Ricochet. It's like he's kind of annoying, but he's not like entertaining annoying. He's kind of like threading that line to where it's like, I don't think he's, it just feels like he's playing a character. It's like too over the top of, as interesting I say that, just coming after Toni Storm, which is clearly an over the top character, but it's just like a completely different, like he's Toni Storm, as much as it is a ridiculous over the top character, she like sells it and she's obviously all in. Ricochet, when he does all of his stuff, it almost feels like he's putting on a facade when he's doing it. And Prince Nana comes out and Ricochet's still wearing the robe, and Nana kind of politely asks to get it back because he wasn't bestowed the robe, so he didn't earn it, so he should not be wearing it right now. Ricochet was like, all right, if you're gonna take it back, then take it off me yourself. And whatchamacallit, Nana did not do that, and so Ricochet walked away. It sounds like Ricochet punked him. I mean, he was definitely like being a dick about it, but no swerve at all. I would suspect that Swerve is going to show up in the next week or two, and we will get that match once again at Revolution. So Revolution shaping up to be a solid show, but it's also kind of shaping up to be a long show. Let's see if I can just pull up the card, at least the announced card currently. So currently we got five matches, easy for me to say, announced. We got Ospreay, Fletcher, Takeshita, and Omega, MJF, Hangman Page, Jon Moxley, and Cope, and Momo Watanabe and Mercedes Moné. Like I said, it looks as though we might have Ricochet and Swerve. We might have Toni Storm and somebody else. We might have what other matches I've been talking about here on this podcast. Apparently, Big Boom AJ is going to have a match at Revolution, which this is the first I'm hearing of this. So bring the boom, everyone. Yeah. So then in the main event, we get Roderick Strong taking on Orange Cassidy. Solid match. Winner would take on Takeshita, I believe, next week or the week after for the International Championship. Match was fine. I wouldn't say there's no doubt, but with Orange Cassidy coming back after being like gone for 2 months, it seems like maybe even longer than that with injuries, it seemed as though he was going to win. And then we get a little thing at the end, a little kerfuffle with Omega, Takeshita, Orange Cassidy kind of there, but it was mainly between Omega and Takeshita and the Don Callis family. So teasing that maybe it'd be Omega and Cassidy, but I mean, we all know Takeshita's gonna probably lose or probably beat Cassidy to get get his win back, build up some momentum, and then maybe lose to Omega, even though he beat. I don't know, but overall, solid show. It wasn't like a blockbuster show by any means. There was some good stuff. Definitely stand out was the opening promo between MJF and Hangman Page. If you haven't, definitely would suggest you go watch that. So that is it for me. Thank you very much. Going to kick it back over to Phillip for his closing thoughts.
All right, thank you very much, Brandon. Ladies and gentlemen, UGWA Age of Aquarius is this Sunday. You don't want to miss it. Emporium, San Francisco. We've got a lot of great matches. I think there's a triple threat for the UGWA title. Dave Dutra, Alpha Zoe, and Jordan Cruz. SPS, South Pacific Savages, are defending the tag titles against Chris Nasty and Jen Savani, and of course the other team consisting of CVE and Brooke Havoc. Nick Xander and Brett Third are going to go at it, and there's going to be a lot more going on. You don't want to miss it. Emporium, UGWA, Age of Aquarius, first UGWA show of the new season. Thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. You guys are...
This is gonna hurt when Your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get